What's up, guys? It's McNulty here. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are all doing well. So the monster summon is back again, and once again we have no Monster Island event to go with it. But what we do have is a little gift in the mailbox. We got 100 monster coins, and it says it's in preparation for the return of the Monster Island event. So I hope to high heck that they have been doing some hard work on the Monster Island event, because we are ready for that event to take off in a big way. Honestly, speaking for myself, but a lot of other people as well, we want to see some new innovations, and I feel like Monster Island is the place to do it. But for today, we have this new hero in the Monster Island event. No idea what the name is. We're going to go into the portal in just a second. In fact, let's go right in right now and we'll have a look at our newest hero from the Monster Island portal. I did drop my free summon, didn't get anybody good, but I must say the portal itself looks insane. And I don't have a graphic of it here, but I really do like the Monster Island portal. Anyways, that's enough said about Monster Island. Just one other thing before we do get into this review. I do obviously have the list for the Fated Summon, as a lot of you do as well. I do want to put out a video on my thoughts on the heroes in the in the Fated Summon, just so that I can give you guys an idea of who I would think would be the best choices. But I don't have enough time to do that right now, so I'm hoping to either do that later on today or maybe tomorrow. So please do look out for that on the channel. But for now, we're going to have a look at our newest hero, which is Sigyn? No idea how you say that name, but anyways, an ice hero from the Monster Hunters. And Sigyn, we'll go with Sigyn, is from the Plains Hunter family. So they do get a bonus from 2 to 5 heroes. So not just for a single hero, but it increases anywhere from 5% to 20% on your attack. So it's a straight up attack boost, which we like. They, of course, get a Monster Island bonus, but that's not going to apply because the Monster Island event is nowhere to be found at the moment. I'd like it if they do start releasing this portal alongside the event. That would be a good idea. Anyways, they get passives. So he's got the special skill damage reduction passive. So he's got a 10% chance to drop direct damage received from special skills to 1, which is a really good effect. And then he also gets the Hunter's Mark. So they cast, whenever they cast a special skill, they give a Hunter's Mark on a random enemy, and that target receives 150 damage over 3 turns. So it's 50 damage a turn. It's not a lot, but if the target already has the effect, the duration can be refreshed and the damage can be increased again by the 150 up to 1,500 damage in total, but it really doesn't come into play all that often. So the passives are not that great for these heroes. I do like that passive with the damage reduction. The family bonus is good, but you need to have more than one of them. And in terms of the class, he is of the Sorcerer class, so it's quite a good defensive class, as I've mentioned before. It gives him the chance to delay, to drop mana generation by 50% for 2 turns if they deal any damage at the end of their turn. So it's a pretty good effect for defense. It's not really going to come into play that much when you're on offense, so I wouldn't really rely on the talent or the class. So anyways, that is pretty much everything on the left hand side. His ether talent, I can see he's benefiting from the attack up there, so that is quite nice alongside the family bonus, because the attack up gives him an extra 20% on the attack stat, and you compare him with other heroes giving up to an extra 20%. So you could be starting out the battle with this guy with an extra 40% on your attack stat, in theory. I mean, that's if you have a whole team full of these jungle hunters or plains hunters. So yeah, that's pretty far off, but you get my drift. Anyways, stats wise, we will switch the max power preview off and have a look. So 1084 team power, that's really good. I feel like they're slowing down a little bit with the power creep, which is a real refreshing breath of fresh air. I do like that. But his stats are still really, really good. So 1112 on the attack, 1032 on defense, and 2012 on health. Really, really good stats, more attacking, which is nice because all of the family bonus and the passive are just adding more and more to Sigyn's attack stat as well. Now moving into the special. So this is called Chitin Cage, and he's running at average speed. So at average speed, he will be dealing 500% damage to the enemies on the edges of the enemy formation. if there's only one enemy alive, then this damage is going to be doubled. That's a hefty hit. Now, he reduces the mana of the enemies on the edges of the enemy formation by 50%. Okay, that's a big mana cut. We don't see mana cuts like that at all. 50% from 2 is huge. I wonder if that would be 100% if it was only a single enemy, if he would reduce the mana by 100% as well. We'll have to find out. It doesn't really specify from reading the card. Now, he summons a Bone Trap Fiend for the enemies on the edges of the enemy formation, and this fiend damages the enemy with 45% attack every turn, and the damage then increases by 8% each turn, up to a maximum 93% damage. That is a lot of damage coming out of that fiend, so you're going to want to get rid of it. It's pretty hard to get rid of, though, because it's got quite a decent amount of health. Oh, actually, we're going to get to that. So the Bone Trap Fiend absorbs healing and disappeared when it's absorbed health equal to 35% of its owner's max health. So that's a decent whack of health. You can get rid of it with a sort of pretty decent healer, like if they're doing 40% or more, or 35% or more, but there's not really anyone who does 35%. But if they're doing like 40% heal, you're going to be able to get rid of those fiends without too much of an issue. The only problem, which is actually a good problem for you to have with this guy, is that if you've got the healers on the edges of the formation, he'll be, with his special, he'll be reducing the mana by 50%. So that means that it's going to be taking you a lot longer to be able to get that hero charged up. So if one of those two heroes that he hit was your healer, you're going to have that fiend attacking you much more for the following however many turns it is until you're able to heal and you're able to get rid of that fiend. So I do like the way this special works. I think the amount of damage is good. 500% damage to the enemies on the edges of the enemy formation. There is a kind of downside with some of these heroes that hit on the edges of the formation, just because you kind of, a lot of times, as far as strategy is concerned, at least, you really want to be hitting the tank. You want to be tank busting, as they call it, not just creating a ghosting lane down the left or the right hand side. I mean, it can be a good idea to be able to do that, but essentially you're mainly targeting the tank initially. But that being said, I do like the amount that he hits for. I think it's a really good hard whack. He's got a high attack stat, and you can increase that attack stat. I like the mana cut a lot. I think it makes him a more viable hero for use on a defensive team, because that would just annoy the heck out of you, where he's cutting that mana by 50%. He's hitting a huge amount. The only thing that would push this hero over the edge from, in my opinion, like A tier or A plus, I would give him, to being an S tier hero, would be if there was some kind of a mana steal element, because in this format, he kind of reminds me of a hit 2 version of a Ruffian and Nurgip, where she steals the mana and distributes it to the rest of the team. That would just push this hero right over the edge for me. As it is, I don't think he's a bad hero. I think he's a good hero. Like I said before, I'll give him an A, a solid A, maybe creeping into the A plus tier. But that just depends on how effective he actually is on defense, I think. On offense, I think he's going to be a little bit more tricky to use. So I would say, to my mind, this is a more defensively built hero. He is running at average speed, so I'd probably pop him on the flank in one of your defensive teams and just let him do his thing. Just let him do his thing. And when you get down to that last hero, if he's the last man standing, 1,000% damage hit to a single hero is going to be awesome. So he's going to be able to clean shop. I'd be interested to find out whether that mana cut is like 100% if it's just a single hero. But honestly, even if it isn't, it still doesn't matter. Sigyn is a freaking awesome hero. So huge congratulations if you do manage to pull Sigyn from this portal. I think he's a definite keeper. In fact, as I keep saying he, I'm not sure whether it's a he or a she. It probably is a she. I always get the genders wrong with these heroes. But that's just something that I've got to accept. I'm going to get the genders wrong. Sigyn is featured alongside Dubhan. So Dubhan, I can't really remember a huge amount about him just from looking, but I believe he was a pretty decent hero. There's just so much going on that I'm not going to go over that again. And Thura, who I actually did really like, I think that she's actually really good, nice hard hit as well, and increase depending on the health that the enemies have. So there's some exciting new heroes coming into the portal. Please do let me know in the comments what you guys think about Sigyn. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts as always. Let me know if you're lucky enough to pull one of these new Monster Hunter heroes. Drop us a like, obviously subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say on this. But keep an eye out, keep your bell notifications on, or whatever you want to do for the Fated Summon video before you start, planning around who you want to pick from that. Obviously, I'll throw my hat in the ring and you can take it or leave it either way. But that being said, I wish you guys all of the best. Drop us a like and I'll see you all again in the next video. Bye for now.